Today I'm going to be showing you how you can save your time and maximize your time here in the First Descendant by some quick things that you might not yet have noticed in the game that I've just realized that are actually going to be super helpful. I'm going to go for a few things here, and with the spirit of saving your time, we're going to jump straight into it. So the first thing that you might or might not have noticed is these two glowing orbs in the area of Albion, pretty much straightforward and to the left from where you spawn. And what these actually are is Infiltration Operations Terminal and Special Operations Terminal. Now, you might not necessarily need these straight away, but once you've got a little bit into the game, I'll show you why these are actually really good. Because if you're trying to farm for certain weapons that you want to craft or certain descendants that you want to craft, you can actually go onto this menu, and once you've unlocked each of the areas and the respective zone within that area that has these missions unlocked, you can click on any of the ones you want to do. And for example, this one here has the Sharon Stabilizer. There's other ones that have different things, but also you've got the chances of the mods and things like that, as well as the reactors and guns, etc. So what you can do is start a private or public operation straight from this screen. You can do that with any of the ones that you want. For example, if you want in the Vespers one, you may be wanting to get the Freyna enhanced cells. You can do this a lot faster because once you complete these missions, you will notice the return to Albion. And this means you can just go from here straight in without having to go to the other world map, which, you know, a lot of people have been doing, is going straight over to the one which is in the spawn area, loading into the zone through there and then running over to this. It saves you a ton of time. Now, you can also do this with the Special Ops Terminal. Again, you will need a bit of progression in the game in order to be able to do this. But for people who are wanting to do the XP farm, which is probably the best one right now and the easiest one, which is the Kingston Albion Defense or Albion Resource Defense, whatever you want to call it, you can do that directly from here as well. You click on it, click Start Mission, you're in. You don't have to go to Kingston, walk over to it, etc. Saves you a loading screen, saves you a ton of time. And one thing to note is that you can actually do a defense here in the Echo Swamp once you get to it. Now, albeit this is a much higher level one, it can also give you some really good XP and some good loot as well. So it's mainly the XP we do these for, and it's the same chunks that you need, but obviously this is going to be higher level, so it's not quite as easy. Definitely still stick to the Kingston one if you wanted the fastest route. Now, the next thing here is if you press M or the respective button on your consoles to go to your map screen and then head over to this access info point at the top. This is going to be basically a directory or an encyclopedia of every single item in the game and everything that you could ever want and how you can get it. So it's going to mean you can farm anything very easily. Now, what this will allow you to do, for example, is go on to Descendants, and let's say that you wanted to get Freyna. You can go on here and you can look at what you've got firstly, so you can see this. Then if you hover over an item that you don't have, so the enhanced cells, which we actually know how to get, but let's click F anyway and look, it will tell you, and then you can literally then click on that. It takes you to where that is on the map, so you can see there. And if it's any of these infiltration missions, which is this symbol here, the sort of dot with the two lines at the side, the curved lines, those can be, of course, done from the station which we just showed you, the Infiltration Ops Station in Albion. So this makes this really quick, but it shows you exactly where you can get this from. And then if you want to track something like I'm doing right now, you simply press U on it and it will start tracking that for you so that you can see when you've got this or where to get it from. Now, some of these characters will require you to have things that you craft. So if we have a look at Valby, for example, you can see here, this is Valby Enhanced Cells. It's a research material and it takes 8 minutes to craft. In order to get this, you will need the Valby Enhanced Cells blueprint, as well as data processing neural circuits, superfluid, and repton. Now, all of this stuff, you can again go into acquisition information and it will tell you there is no information available, but what it actually says next to it is breaks it down into the stuff that you need. So for example, you can get the Valby Enhancement Cells blueprint from this mission right here, and some ones that I haven't yet unlocked are also available. And then you can go over and look at things like the data processing, and it'll tell you drops from Mission Monster, Mission Monster, Mission Monster, etc. on all of these different types of places. Now, again, you can see here you get these from resources and munitions boxes, and the superfluid is the same thing in the sterile land. So you can actually break this down and see where you get them from. It's going to save you a ton of time. It works for the weapons, the enhancement materials, literally anything that you want to get. It's going to save you a ton of time by looking at this. The tracking, you can unlock additional slots at Mastery rank 10 and rank 15. So at the final point, once you get to 15 or above, you can of course track each of the 4 required items for a Descendant or for a weapon if you want to do so at the same time, which does make this a lot easier, so definitely stay on top of your mastery. The final point I want to talk about here is crafting and what you should craft and when you should craft. Basically, you want to be crafting things ASAP, literally as soon as you unlock the ability to do so with your weapons and your Descendants. You want to be getting onto this right away, because if you haven't already done so, most of you have done the Thunder Cage, you will know by now that this actually takes real life time in order to be able to craft. And that means that if you craft any of these weapons, you're going to have to wait 4 hours for this one, 4 hours for this one, and so on and so forth. You can check the time, and again, you can track the materials and craft the materials, whatever you need to do, but definitely get on these as soon as possible, and try to always have something that you can level up, because this is slightly more important with the Descendants to start off the game rather than the weapons, as there is quite a lot of weapons in the game anyway. But once you get up to maximum level of 40 with a Descendant, to continue increasing your mastery rank, you're going to want to start leveling up different Descendants so you can continuously contribute towards this. And you get Bunny pretty easily and you have one to start with, but once you've got both of those max level, you're going to want another one to start leveling up to keep progressing that mastery. You will of course keep progressing it through the weapon level ups, but this is going to maximise your efficiency. So again, it may be that it's Freyner you want to build. That does take 16 hours in order to research, so getting that done ASAP is going to be very crucial. So I would definitely recommend trying to get these items when you can, especially the ones that you can just farm out, so like these ones as well, the Sharon stuff, as opposed to something like Glay where you have to craft. It's symbolised by this little egg timer icon next to the item. Again, they don't take too long in order to craft them, but they're going to be a little bit longer in order to farm. Again, another one you can just get is Blair, just by getting the items. So definitely get on top of those and start crafting them as soon as you can, because you're going to be thankful for that in the long run when you've got more characters to play as to continue to level up your mastery once you do start to hit that end game section. Again, with the weapons, just keep on top of them. Weapon materials and all such like that you can craft as well when you get access to them. And of course, the same with enhancement materials. I always recommend staying on top of your precision phase exchanges and your fine adjustment control axes when you can. If you've got enough for a precise ion accelerator, again, these are great. And the same with these crystallization catalysts and energy activators, but these are both very, very expensive and cost a lot of rare materials, so don't worry about these too much until you need to craft them. It's worth noting as well that you are given an energy activator through the kind of main story progression / mastery progression in the game, so bide your time until you get one of those. You can use it with your favourite Descendant there and make the most of that one. It'll also give you a featured section when you come onto the crafting, which recommends people for you to craft and also things that you should craft, so you can have a look at this if you are ever stuck and wondering what you should do next. The game does give you a little helping hand. And just finally, to follow on from that, make sure you're cleaning up your inventory. The fastest way you can do this is by going into the dismantle modules section here and just holding down shift or the respective button on your console. It'll tell you in the bottom right of the interface. What this does is highlight all of the duplicate mods. You can see there we've got 11 duplicate mods activated, and then what you can do is dismantle them. That'll keep you on top of the Kuiper shards, which you really do need for enhancing your modules. And while we're on the topic of enhancing modules, you do also want to make sure, a lot of people are missing this when I've been talking to them, make sure you're enhancing your shock punch or your sword or whatever one you're using, because if you look when you level this up, what it actually does is increases your module capacity. Now, as you get to higher levels, this is, of course, very expensive in terms of Kuiper shards. You can see 5,700 for just one upgrade, but in the long term, it is going to be worth it because it's going to allow whichever Descendant you are using with this slotted in to have those additional module capacities, and in turn level up some of the really useful stuff to be able to survive longer and maximize your efficiency when you are in the game as well. So keep on top of that. It's going to be really important. So that is going to be it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please do leave me a like and a subscribe down below. Both of those things massively help out me and the channel, so I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, I'll catch you again very shortly in a brand new upload. So take care and peace.